Bro, look at this fucking shit. One of them was gone. This fucking dark room, bro. Oh, popular. Oh, hello, Kirsty. Wait, why is it wonky? I'm pretty wonky, to be fair. Usually people just see the final product of a documentary and they never really look into the ins and outs of how people make it and how they edit it to make it the final outcome. Underdogs is a 3-part esports documentary series that follows the SDC Seagulls, which is the esports team for South Devon College, and how they go through a year of tournaments, LAN and online, and how they do throughout the year. So we particularly followed the SDC Ascend team, which is the Valorant Nationals team for British Esports Federation, as they were the first Valorant team to go into a nationals tournament from the college. They did quite well throughout the year, going to different tournaments, including Swindon, Rain and Rumble at the end, and obviously British Esports throughout. The goal for this documentary was to show what happens behind the scenes in esports at a college level and how much effort goes in. I wanted this documentary to feel as authentic as possible, showing like the ins and outs of how the players communicate with each other, like their friendships outside, tutors, coaches, like kind of mixing education with esports, how it works. Obviously there's a lot of pressure, teamwork, that comes alongside being on a team, whether that's in this level of esports and pro league esports. I also wanted to show off the actual personalities of the players and how like being at that high level of competitive gaming can affect them and their health. The intended audience for this documentary is people aged 16 to 24, you know, the usual age that esports is appealing to, especially because this is a college level, in our case 16 to 20, because it's more of a university-centered team. How did we plan the flow of the series? Well, we had to, you know, sort of base it off a storyline which kind of fell into place on its own. We had team members arguing, team members leaving like halfway through the season. Obviously the start of the season was a huge kickoff, especially with that first game that we played, where we won. The main turning point for this series, hence why the name of the second episode is called The Turning Point, is when Zach left the team, which we had to snap that opportunity up and just take it so we could use that as a swerve for the storyline. As the first episode starts off quite happy, it shows the interviews of the players, shows their background a bit, their skill, and just the whole college feel overall. In the editing, you can see in the second episode, it goes from very colourful in the start, in the first episode, to then sort of a gloomy grey start in the second one, which is where we use colour grading to, you know, show that vibe, show the sadness of what happened, obviously Zach leaving. We also had Ruby leaving, which isn't touched on as much because there's not as much filming there as she's a sub. For the first part, we heavily looked into online esports documentaries that we found on YouTube, so PRX, Fnatic, big teams. I just wanted to look at the pacing, how they structure it, to make sure that we're structuring it in a way that's going to be enticing for our intended audience. We could also see how we can convey the tension that we were feeling as a team, and the emotional kind of side of things, how we can put that across as sort of explaining what we feel, but in a video form that other people can sort of understand. I also wanted to look at their way of doing interviews. Obviously, we did ours in a dark room, pretty simple, keep them on the right-hand side in the third quarter, rule of thirds, to make it sort of like we're speaking to the audience, which makes it feel like more of a, you know, one-on-one thing. Obviously, the interviews were kept consistent throughout the episodes, keeping the black background, same room, same kind of lighting, position, the way the questions were asked. We had to keep it the same. It was a simple setup, so the person that was being interviewed had a wireless lavalier mic, which was plugged into the A10 Mini with a jack. And then for video, we had the camera with an SDI cable coming out into a converter, which then went into HDMI, which then went into the A10, which then it went into the PC. It was a really long technical kind of thing. We had issues trying to get the video to show up because the source was wrong. There was a couple of settings on the camera that weren't just right. As you can see in the video, it's not the best quality, but I think that's because it didn't completely align up with OBS properly. We also had issues with the audio lining up properly. Joe's mic sounded bass boosted for some reason.
Okay. You're not recording, eh?
I am recording now.
Oh, okay, damn it. I'm glad I asked. I was going to say some terrible things. No, I'm not going to do that.
I am not recording, Joe.
I am legally obligated to tell you I'm not recording.
Another thing in the interviews was the lighting. Obviously, we kept it a warmer tone. In the start, it was kind of happy. And as it kind of got to Zach's interview where it was a bit more sad, it kind of was just quite hard on white light kind of in his face. You can't really see it that well because of the camera quality, but we kind of wanted to give it that bright contrast that it was like a being interrogated kind of thing. In terms of audio, obviously, it was harder to capture the interview audio than it was anything else. The in-game audio was all done through OBS, through just hooking up the mic and setting it as a source, and the same with the gameplay. And obviously, anything done on this camera, it was just done through the wireless Bluetooth mic, which I lost one. It's a fucking dark room, bro. So basically, this editing process took a lot longer than we expected it to. With obviously, it's hard to edit in a room with 3 dudes. Thanks, Cooper.
Island's me. Help, 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 help.
After we figured out the audio wasn't lining up and the video being a shit quality, we had no time to re-record everything. We kind of just had to work with what we had and just use any settings that we could to bump up the audio quality. And I think the video just kind of sorted itself out. And obviously with all the issues that we had, it was really hard to just edit everything just as it was. And we had to add loads of like compression, DSs, all this on the audio just to balance everything out. It was also recorded in mono settings as well, so obviously we had to change everything to stereo, make sure the channel was lined up as well. It had to be done for every episode, and obviously with 4 people editing 3 episodes, it was hard to do it like all at once and make sure everyone was doing it right at the same time in the same way, and it was just a pain in the ass. Obviously, the whole series is basically aimed towards esports enthusiasts, and we wanted to keep the energetic, fast-paced kind of vibe going on throughout the whole thing, as that is basically what we're trying to convey to everyone else, saying that, you know, doing esports in university and college isn't just a waste of time. Obviously there is playing games, but there's also everything else behind it. Making these documentaries, making videos to show how you've done it, it's important to show what's going on behind the scenes. Obviously throughout my editing, there's quick cuts, high energetic moments, lots of color grading. For the music, I used Auditari because obviously very hyped up. I liked the use of Run, which is his sort of song that he's made with Valorant, it fits Cooper's vibe so well, especially with his, one of his main agents being Neon and obviously Jet as well. It just fit really well, and I just think that all the songs that I used were from him in that episode. And they all worked so well with everyone's sort of vibe and the clips that they've submitted for us to use in the first episode. And obviously we've got the hyper energetic sort of feeling in the first episode, and then it obviously goes down in second. But this gave us a great opportunity to show off the 2 sides of the esports industry, which obviously is being stressful and upset because of loss. And obviously being a player isn't easy in terms of just like mental health wise as well. It's a hard job to have. It's similar to obviously being in a traditional sport like football, basketball. There's a lot that goes on. Less physical, but there's still a lot there, especially mentally. Roles and responsibilities throughout the entirety of filming. Honestly, it was very switch around quite a bit. I must say Bryn was very much on the audio side of things. He was very good at that. I was kind of directing quite a lot of parts because we had to give like quite a rough structure as to what we wanted because we had such limited time to film everything and kind of figure out what we wanted to do. We all did a very, very even amount of stuff on the production side of things, and I think editing, it's a bit here and there because half of our group didn't know how to edit on DaVinci, some haven't edited before. But in terms of coming together and bringing ideas of how we wanted to edit it all together, it's pretty evil. Definitely one of the biggest highlights was, even though we did not win Radiant Rumble, I think one of the biggest highlights was the shot I got of Western lifting that trophy. I think it was great. We did 2 takes of it, but honestly, it was such a nice shot to get, especially on a camera like this. The quality is amazing. I think Cooper rapping was a great one.
A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna go for a pee. Look over there, I'm going wee wee. Oh my god, I eat. Oh my god, I smell. I'ma eat your hard. I'm hitting all of these bars. You're Ooh, woo.
I also think in the editing of part 1, there's a bit where Oditari says the word 4, and Cooper's there putting up 4s. That was a complete accident. Me and Nathan were in VC editing. I think that was one of the best editing mistakes I've ever made. And also the audio, just in terms of music and video in that episode, everything just lined up perfectly without me even trying. In terms of what I've learned from doing this project, I think if you're in these groups, ensuring you have a leader, you need to have everyone being on it whenever you're filming. It's so important, or else if you don't have that leadership role, no one's going to know what to do. Our group, we all have our strengths. We need to use them to our advantage and make sure that people that know more about other things are staying on those things, but also learning about the other things that they need to learn about. I think in terms of events, I wanted to just say that Radiant Rumble went very well, even though that is not part of this AV project. It was a project that we also were doing alongside of this, and I think having such 2 big projects going on at the same time, being able to balance them and make sure that we got enough out of it to get this done was something that happened naturally, but also with a lot of effort from everyone in the group. Obviously, another thing I've learned is that it is hard. Pre-planning is so important in a project like this, because once again, if you do not know what you're doing, sometimes it can work, but having a rough structure is definitely very important to make sure that you get the best possible end result.
Hello? Stop the goon scroll.
I fitted her with some new part. Gave her a nice bit of an infill in. I can beat the gravity that brings the ground to you. So
Is that good?
Is that good? What?
Is that good? Don't make me get my ood out on the camera.
Is it?
yeah.
God, let's see this massage.
Oh.
Getting that lat.
Is that a good massage?
Man,
Look a little bit of flesh, honey.
We ready, honey.
I just see it up on that right now. Oh.